Good day to you, our prospective student. My name is Joshua Davidson and welcome to our video information series. Today we're going to be talking about all things admissions and we're going to be answering one of the most frequently asked questions is when will I hear? So the person best to answer that question rather, when will I hear, is my colleague over here. So colleague, thank you for being here. Please do introduce yourself, tell our prospective students who you are and what you do here at Stellenbosch University.
Good morning, Joshua. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Ashwin Daniels. I'm the Deputy Registrar for Academic Administration on both the Stellenbosch campus and also the Bellville Park campus.
Okay, so thank you for being here again.
Lovely.
As always, we end up in these situations where we're on TV. But the question is always, when will I hear?
Yeah.
So let's start off at the main question. What does the final process look like and timeline look like for final admissions for our prospective students for next year?
Okay, so thank you for the question, Joshua. So we've got various categories. We have the students, what we refer to as post-matriculants. Those are the applicants who've already completed their matric. And they, if they've applied on time and they were successful, they would have received their final offer letters already within this particular year. Okay. Then we have the second major category, which is obviously your students or your applicants that's still busy writing, and just want to wish them well also because we are within this exam period for them as well. So they will only receive their final offers on the 13th of January. So that's the expected release date for the final offers. However, it's important also to note that they should have received the conditional offer letter if they were successful. So that entire category, everybody who received a conditional offer letter and who have accepted that conditional offer letter, and if they do well in the final grade 12 results, they will receive an outcome by the 13th of January 2026.
So let's just focus on those in matric right now. They've obviously got the conditional offer, they've accepted the conditional offer. Let's talk about timeline for them when they get their final results and when can they expect the final offer.
So that's such an important question as well. So we always say to applicants, check your emails, check the applicant portal as well. And once we receive the data from the DBE, from the Department of Basic Education, we generally take about 2 days to process it, etc. And the national release date is on the 13th of January. And we cannot release any offers to those applicants prior to that particular date. And that's a national norm, it's a national standard. So by the 13th, if they then receive a final offer letter, they've got 2 days to accept. That's why it's so important, and I know the end of year, it's they're going to be just relaxing
in
holiday mode, yes. But it's important for them just in that second week of January to start watching the email accounts and also the applicant portal. So by the 13th, they'll then get 2 days to accept the offer, and the offer will technically expire after 2 days. So it's important for them to accept or decline even the offer.
Okay. Prospective students, 48 hours is all you have to make up your mind.
Yeah.
In plain words, plain and simple, I'm going to put it plain and simple, make up your mind. 48 hours, so it's very important to accept or decline.
Yeah.
Because we obviously know that our prospective students have applied elsewhere, they've most likely received offers elsewhere as well. So it's very important that you do accept or decline wherever it is that you're going to study or not going to study. Yeah. So let's focus on the other group, the post-matric. So I've maybe taken a gap year this year, I finished matric last year or the year before. Final admission, let's just reiterate that again.
Yeah.
Final admission for them, when can they expect communication again from us? What does it look like for them?
So look, obviously we have the final results and we can make a firm offer or final offer as such. And because we don't need anything further from them, we if they were successful, we would have issued a final offer letter. So the next phase for them is now just to wait for their registration information.
Okay.
And as Stellenbosch University, we do a lot of communication. So we try and keep all of our applicants up to date, parents as well. So they will receive registration communication to the latter part of, say, end of November, early December. And then obviously we do a follow-up again in January, just to remind everybody that, you know, this is the registration date, this is the procedure, etc.
Yeah.
So the communication that's going to go out to them now, if they were successful, is all about registration, welcoming period, etc. And especially the welcoming period is so important to our first year students, you know. So it gives them an in-depth knowledge of the institution, their classes, time frames, support structures, etc. You know, so it's very important to a first year student to attend that welcoming period.
It eases that transition.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And it makes the world of Stellenbosch that seems so big a bit smaller.
Definitely is.
So we've spoken about two categories now, and now there's another one within that post-matric. If I finished matric last year and maybe my marks weren't good enough for one or two subjects, I went to go rewrite.
Yeah.
How do I go about submitting my results? Do you as the institution get it automatically? What do I do?
Yeah. So I think there's, you know, like I said, it's not as easy as just saying there's one particular process. So this is a category of applicants that we don't receive the final results, and we require them to submit their results. And there's a particular link on our martis.com website as well, where they can submit the updated results. From there as well, let's, for example, say you were not successful in the first round as well. Our faculties do allow for people to be reconsidered, or for applicants to be reconsidered as well. And that is what we call the reconsideration process. And that particular information is located on all of our faculty websites again. It's just important to note that, you know, the process is very competitive. And as you also know, Joshua, you know, the amount of spaces is really limited. So where there are spaces available and where applicants do meet the selection criteria, we will reconsider them as well.
I think we've spoken about this before, and we've labeled it as a if process.
There we go.
Not a when.
Yes.
So it is a process that you cannot bank. You know, don't put all your money on that process. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. So let's just expand on the reconsideration process. If I'm the prospective student, I was unsuccessful, I'm currently in matric, maybe my matric results are better, maybe they're the same, but I still want to ask, can you reconsider me? How do I do that?
Yeah, so as I've explained, the faculty websites contain all of that information. So if you are interested in a particular program, go to that particular faculty's website. You'll find the reconsideration process there. Fill in your details. And like I said, if there's spaces available, if there's any spaces available, and if you do meet that selection criteria, you would most probably receive a offer letter. Once more, it's important to note that that offer letter is going to expire within 2 days. So keep on watching, you know, your email account for information, etc.
So it's important also that we go through a few of these topics over and over and over, and we maybe repeat the same thing twice, because these are the questions that you'll get over and over. Maybe even someone who watched this video will still send the email next day and ask, how do I do it? Maybe come stand in line and things like that. So everything that you need as our prospective student coming to study at Stellenbosch University is on our website. Please make sure that you understand what's happening on our website. Please make sure that you're connected with your emails, and that you have access to a working email address, because we're not going to send you a WhatsApp, we're not going to send you a message on Instagram or TikTok. We're going to send you an email, and it's going to be official university communication. So we've gone through the process now. Thank you for that information, Ashman. And now we need to talk about, when must I come? So we asked, when will I hear? Now we're asking, when must I come? So when is the university set to start next year? You spoke about towards the end of this year, they will receive information about the welcoming program. But talk us through that.
So like I said, welcoming program is very important. From a timelines perspective, the institution is busy finalizing our final dates for next year.
Okay.
However, the academic year will start on the 9th of February. That is when classes start,
Yes.
and that is when all of our students must be registered. We want them in classes, ready to tackle the year. Prior to that, we generally run our orientation or our welcoming program as well. And registration also for those students would then take place about 2 weeks prior to the start of the academic year.
Okay.
We also do online registration, so students are welcome once they've accepted the offer. They are then welcome to start registering online. Communication will obviously flow in that regard as well, with a guide to say, you know, how do I access the website? How do I access the portal?
Yeah.
What is the registration procedure? And then for those students who generally struggle with a bit of technology, we would also have an assisted registration process for them to get them registered before the 9th of Feb.
Okay, so 9th of Feb 2026 is when reality kicks in.
That's correct.
You'll still be excited at that point, but then you'll realize this is actually serious business over here. So thank you so much, Ashman, for your time and for all that information. We hope that it added value, and I know that it will add value to you as our prospective student, parents, guardians, whoever is watching this video. As Ashman mentioned at the beginning of this video, all of the best for your final exams. If there's any information you need, please visit our website, email info@SUN, our client services, give them a call, ask the questions. Please, there's no such thing as a silly question. We don't expect you to know any of this. We know it's your first time, might be your parents' first time as well, but we look forward to welcoming you in 2026. All of the best until we see each other again. Bye-bye.